Hi, my name is Dale Johnson, and I like to make things. And welcome to another one of our Let's Draws. And this week we're going to draw Heavy Weapons Guy from Team Fortress 2. So let's get started. And I apologize for my horrible Russian accent. I'll try not to do any more. And he's kind of got a blocky head. One of the problems I have with this character, not with the character itself, but with drawing him, is that even in the game, depending on his shape of his mouth and such, his jawline just completely changes. It's really weird. He's got a huge torso. I probably got his head a little bit too big. I'll fix that in a minute. And little tiny legs. It looks really weird when he doesn't have his gun and just his little stick legs. And of course, if you haven't been following these Let's Draws, you might not know that the reason I do these, well, in part, the reason I do these... Here, let's move him a little bit. Oops. So I can fit his hand. Is to talk a little bit about my game, Junction, that I am working on, and the progress I make every week. If you don't know what Junction is, it's a point-and-click adventure game. It's a little bit different than some, but you can check it out on my channel if you want to. Here on the Vision Writers channel. I've got a gameplay preview of it. Can't talk at all this week. Shrink his head down. You can check it out and see what it's about. And of course, as usual, while I draw, why don't you grab a pencil of your own and some paper and draw along with me? Or you can wait until after I'm done and draw your own. Draw your own heavy. Okay. Of course, you'll notice he has these freakishly large hands. Kind of reminds me of Ralph from Wreck-It Ralph. Although the heavy outdates him by quite a bit. And he's got a huge neck. I'm not sure if I'm going to draw his bandolier in. I'll go ahead and put the line down for it. Where he keeps all his bullets. And shrink him down just a bit so that we can fit sandwich up here. It's a delicious sandwich. Now this week, I completed more backgrounds for Junction, which I said I was going to do. I've been doing a lot of lately, of course. And I'll go ahead and show some of those right now. This is the one that I started last week, but didn't finish. I kind of mentioned it. These other two or three, I forget how many, are ones that I did a little later, completely from scratch, that I hadn't started last week. And that hospital room one, I'm particularly proud of. It just, I don't know, it just ended up really good for some reason. Shrink him down just a little more. Now I do have an announcement to make real quick. And that's, next week I'm not sure if I'm going to do another Let's Draw. I'll do another Let's Draw the week after that. But I don't think... My plan is next week I'm going to do another gameplay preview for Junction. And because of the work involved in that and everything else, I'm just going to do that. And that's probably going to be kind of the norm. Whenever I do something else other than a Let's Draw, be it a gameplay preview for Junction or whatever, I will probably not do a Let's Draw that week. And also, if you've got any questions for me about Junction or whatever, or even just my drawing style or what have you, go ahead and ask in the comments. I'll address them the next time I get around to a Let's Draw. I might showcase certain things. After last week, I probably won't do inking for a long time. That video ended up really boring because I decided at the last minute I was going to ink. And so you basically got to see me draw the same thing. Three different times. It's not a lot of fun. Shrink his face down. Did several test sketches for this. The proportions on his face are really hard to get down. Because he's got this really long face, but it's also very blocky at the same time. Move that with his nose. He's got a huge chin. And like I said before, depending on the shape of his mouth, sometimes it's bigger than others. And I'll get up here and fiddle with his eyes more in a little bit. Another thing I finished on Junction this week, or actually last week, I started it Saturday after I'd finished the Let's Draw, and I just decided I'd just kind of mess around in Fruity Loops a little bit. Ended up coming up with another music track for the game that I hadn't planned to do yet. Go ahead and start that about now. You should be listening to it. I'll shut up a little bit so that you can listen to part of it. Nothing great or anything, but I think it ended up pretty good. Now, the part of the game that I've written it for, it fits there, but I'm not sure if it's quite what I was looking for that, so I might end up using it someplace else. It's hard to say. Good grief, these hands are enormous. And it didn't. I'm not sure if it loops correctly or not. I haven't listened to it for a little bit. But another interesting thing on Junction, the reference picture I have, you can't really see his pants because he's holding the gun. I don't feel like drawing Shasha today. I'm gonna be lazy. So, see his pants, and I can't see them in the reference that I'm using. Oh well. How are we doing on time? We are 7 minutes in. I think the lettuce sticking out of the bread. I'm not sure which side the crust is on. Who knows? His arms, rather, are not nearly huge enough. Go ahead and go on to the final sketch now, and I promise I won't do the inking again. Let's dim this. As I think I started to say just a little bit ago. It's a little bit too close. Zoom out, please. Photoshop locked up on me there for a minute. I think I'll cut that bit out if I haven't done. Yeah, get to just listen to silence, I guess. So I think I started to say a little bit ago. I've gotten to the point in Junction, I got the backgrounds done a lot quicker than I thought they were going to come about. So, I'm a little bit further than I thought I was going to be, so I've gotten to the point where I can't really do any more backgrounds. There's a lot more backgrounds to be done. Well, not a lot, I've gotten most of them done. But there's more than there. Stop hitting the wrong button. I've gotten most of them, the major ones, done. There's not too many more. I'll come back and do this face in a minute. Not too many more to be done that haven't had anything. Of course, I mean, they all have to be finalized and stuff like that. But for the ones that are left, I can't really do anything on them until I catch up and do the second draft of the story and decide what is going to stay and what's going to go. So it looks like I'm going to be sooner than later working on the story again. And as I go along with the story, I'll be fixing the backgrounds to make sure that they work with the scripting and make sense, fit with what the story has ended up being, or will end up being. Once again, I have forgotten to turn off the other dynamics, so you'll notice I've got my lines are opaque when I don't push very hard. I'm just going to stick with it this time. Instead of last week, that's what happened. I started doing that and realized that and said, I'm going to do an inking and make up for it. Not the best idea. You know what? I'm going to skip his bandolier. Of as I say that. I might come back and do it. We'll see in a minute. He's got his little heavy weapons guy biking over here. On his sleeve. And I've actually got about 600 hours racked up in Team Fortress 2. Have not played it in a long time now. Got quite the collection of hats, I must admit. My favorite hat simulator ever. There isn't a hat simulator out there that's quite as good. I think his head is probably still a little too big. He's got this little bitty head in the game. But I might stick with what I got. He is triumphantly hoisting his sandwich aloft. It's a delicious sandwich. It's making me hungry, I'll be honest here. He's got these blocky fingers. And my favorite classes in TF2 are probably the NG, because I like making stuff, as I say at the beginning of every video. I like being able to just sit in one place and help my teammates by making dispensers and upgrading my sentries. One of the first times I played TF2 and I tried the NG, just so frustrating. I couldn't get the concept of having the metal down, and I'd have to run all the way back to base. I didn't realize you could store up metal by taking stuff from the battlefield or by going to the little ammo boxes. It was really frustrating, and I decided I'd never do it again. Now, the NG is probably the class I've got the most hours in. But I also really like the Pyro. And yeah, I know, a lot of people say it doesn't take very much skill. But hey, I pride myself in my W mouse button skills. It takes a lot of practice to be able to hold down that W button, move forward while you hold down the left mouse button and spray fire. And that takes a real man, or woman, as the case might be, or robot. Nobody's really sure what the Pyro is. Is he even human? Is she even human? I do not know. It's part of the mystery. And I'm not sure where his little icon would be with that pose. And they've all got this weird little jacket thing that the mercenaries wear in this game. And his isn't quite big enough, so his belly sticks out. His shirt is big enough though, so you don't have a belly button. He's got his belt right below that. And it's got some kind of clip over here, I don't know. Is it a holster? I can't tell from this reference. That I can't see on the reference to see how it's actually done. Close enough, I say. Zoom out a little bit so we can do his pants. They just kind of tuck into his boot. Save this real quick. The first Let's Draw I did, I didn't save it. I didn't save it until I was done, and I kept thinking afterwards, well, what if it crashed? I'd have all the video and I could go back if I'd saved it and finish it. But since I didn't save it, if it crashed in the middle of drawing it, I'd have to do it all over from scratch. And I decided it's probably a good thing to take into account. I'm going to move him up just a little bit so I have room to do his shoes. Just link these two layers and move them up. He's got these very thick heels on his boots. Excuse me. But yeah, I really like the Pyro. It's just fun, and also you help the other NGs. I like helping my teammates. I end up playing Medic a lot. I don't actually enjoy Medic that much, but I play it quite a bit. Or did back when I played it. Okay, let's do his face now. His eyelids are kind of backwards. He's going to be looking at his sandwich. It's got a kind of a pointy nose. Very angular. Kind of a triangle of a nose. I guess I shouldn't put that. Light is going to come from this direction. This way. Like the arrow on his head. Now he's Ong from... Ong, I actually said it like the movie. Aang from Last Airbender. His smile is hard to get. In all the test sketches I did for this, I could never quite get his smile to look kind of the almost sinister, weird way he does it. Very close-ish. He's got very angry eyebrows. Because he's heavy weapons guy. Defining marks on his forehead. I'm going to give him just a little bit taller of a forehead, I think. See what we've got so far. And his lines for his hand over here are way too thick. I must have adjusted the size of my brush and not realized it. You guys were probably all yelling at the screen when you noticed. Yeah, what you gonna do? There you have it, the heavy is hoisting his sandwich aloft. And I'm gonna flip this around real quick. Transform the entire canvas, please. Keep it horizontal. Just standing up straight. Not really. I'm gonna adjust it just a little bit. I might size that sandwich down just a little. Sure, his hands are huge, but not that huge, if that makes any sense. His stomach should probably be coming out more this way, but it's a little too late to fix that now. He's got these little details on his jacket that I didn't do. Let's see, do I have his hand right? You know what? I think I've got his hand on completely backwards. Let's see here. Okay, the thumb would be sticking out toward you. It just looks weird because of the way I've got it drawn. Maybe. Who knows? And I could sit here and nitpick his arms and stuff and so forth. Forever, but I won't. Let's flip him back around. Okay, we'll throw in some quick shading real quick. Let's turn off our shape dynamics so that it's just that same size. And I'm going to go with a different tip shape for a change. I'm going to go with, this is just, I think, a default brush in Photoshop. I'm not sure. I really need to get some more brushes. It's just a very simple, sort of like a actual brush strokes, but not really. Just real quick. And that's kind of the kind of line it gives you. I want a lighter shade of reddish pink color thing that I've got. And his jacket. Whoops. This needs to be below that. His jacket is this darker color. Along with his gloves, I'll go ahead and fill those in. So tempted to keep emulating the heavy's voice, but I know I can't do it. I want to make so many references. I've not played this game in so long, though. Now, as far as my least favorite class in TF2, it would probably be the soldier. I can pretty much play him, just not very well at all. I'm going to make his boost start too. I just don't like the rocket style of play. I can do it, but I like the demo man a little bit better, but even him, yeah, take it or leave it. Class I'm worst at would probably be this, not the spy, the scout. Didn't I decide that the light would be coming from this direction? Oh well, it's going this way now. Whatever. Because it's a lot of fun to play, but I have a really hard time remembering to get up close whenever I do my attacks, because I've got to get up close with him to do that style of his little shotgun thing. Notice I'm not even trying to stay inside the lines. I'm just going for a really rough color. Oops. Yep, so throw a little bit darker shading here. His jacket. And on his gloves where it's darker. The spy is a lot of fun to play as the same way about the sniper, but there's already like 50 different snipers and spies on your team, so I don't usually. There's no reason to have another one. So he's fun when I have the chance to do him, but otherwise, yeah, not that great at either one of them, especially the sniper, because whenever lag kicks up, I know I'm going to miss the shot. I'll push the button to shoot, and it like lags a little bit before I can see what I hit, and it makes it really hard to concentrate. It's not like I'm that great at pointing and clicking at things anyway. I need to remember to do a stubble. Stubble's what really makes it heavy weapons guy, at least in my opinion. Does not look right without it. See if I can think of anything else I was supposed to talk about as I finish up here. Now, this is only 22 minutes in. I'm tempted to just throw some color in, but I don't really have the time to do it from here. I already did the shading. Oh well, maybe next time. Hold on, let's erase this right here. I put his stubble on a different one there. That makes sense. Erase that just a little bit right there. So it looks like the light is hitting his hand. And one more thing I have to put in. Go back to my other brush. Heavy plus sandwich forever. My one true pairing. Forget heavy medic. It's heavy sandwich all the way. Let's see. I don't think I can think of anything else that I was supposed to talk about this week. Oh. If you're drawing along with me, go ahead and sign your name. Oops. Get my shape dynamics on here. And today it is the 5th of April. Unless you're in a different part of the world and you think that is the 5th month, 4th day. It's not. I'm American. I do it that way. Actually, I do it both ways. I'm really confusing. But you won't see it the 5th of April anyway. You'll see it at the very earliest by tomorrow. Well, whatever. And there you have it. Heavy weapons guy and his sandwich. Well, how'd your drawing come out? Did it come out as well as mine? Or better? Or worse? It doesn't really matter. Why don't you go ahead and share it with me? Either in the comments, whatever. Also keep in mind I'm taking commissions. I'm going to put a link down here so that you can see, and you can get either a sketch quality like this, or you can pay a little more and get something extra. I've taken my prices down recently. I'm not sure that's going to be permanent, but for now you can get a sketch for about $2 or $3. Possibly less depending on what you want. email me if you're interested. I'll be able to give you a more general idea of what my prices are for exactly what you want. And if you enjoyed this, like it, comment, subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. Comments and criticism are welcome. As are requests. In fact, I think my next Let's Draw, I'm going to do a request that a friend gave me. So if you want a request after that, go ahead and leave it for me. I hope you enjoyed this Let's Draw. I hope you'll join me again for the next one. Hope you're going to look forward to the gameplay preview of Junction next week. Hope you have a good week. Dale out.